timeless prose of Max Eamon's Desiderata offers a masterclass in living a grounded, meaningful life. Written over a century ago, its wisdom remains startlingly relevant, serving as a psychological and spiritual compass. To truly understand these words, we must look beyond their poetic surface and expand upon the profound, practical philosophy they offer for navigating the complexities of the human experience. Here is an expanded reflection on these enduring principles of peace, authenticity, and resilience, the sanctuary of silence and social harmony. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. In our modern era, noise and haste have taken on unprecedented dimensions. We are constantly bombarded by digital notifications, the relentless 24-hour news cycle, and the societal pressure to always be moving, producing, and consuming. To go placidly through this environment is not an act of passivity. It is an act of profound rebellion. It requires a deliberate, conscious effort to slow down and carve out sanctuaries of silence in your daily life. Silence is not merely the absence of sound. It is the presence of internal stillness. It is in this quiet space that we process our emotions, untangle our thoughts, and reconnect with our core values. Furthermore, navigating the social world requires a delicate balancing act. Being on good terms with all persons is a worthy ideal, but the crucial caveat is without surrender. You must strive for diplomacy, kindness, and civility, but never at the cost of your boundaries, your core beliefs, or your self-respect. True peace with others cannot be built on the foundation of your own subjugation. It is about finding the middle path where mutual respect thrives, allowing you to walk away from unnecessary conflict without compromising who you are. The art of quiet truth and radical listening. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. We live in a culture that often equates volume with validity. We are taught that the loudest voice in the room is the one that wins. Yet, there is immense, unshakable power in speaking your truth quietly and clearly. When you communicate from a place of grounded certainty, you do not need to shout to be heard. Aggression and volume are often masks for insecurity. A quiet, clear truth resonates deeply because it leaves room for the listener to absorb it without feeling attacked. Equally important is the companion to speaking, listening. To listen to the dull and the ignorant is not an exercise in enduring boredom or validating falsehoods. Rather, it is an exercise in radical empathy. Every single human being is the protagonist of their own complex narrative, shaped by unique traumas, triumphs, and circumstances. When you dismiss someone as dull, you are often missing the nuances of their journey. By offering your genuine attention, you acknowledge their humanity. You may not agree with them, and you may not learn a profound factual truth from them, but you will learn about the human condition, guarding your energy and escaping the comparison trap. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter. For always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Your energy and attention are your most valuable resources. You must guard them fiercely. Loud and aggressive people operate on a frequency of chaos. They draw you into their drama, draining your emotional reserves and disrupting your internal equilibrium. Recognizing these individuals and consciously limiting your exposure to them is a vital practice in self-care. Perhaps an even greater threat to your peace is the internal thief of joy, comparison. In an age where carefully curated highlight reels are broadcasted globally, it is easier than ever to measure your behind-the-scenes reality against someone else's public performance. If you look down upon those you perceive as lesser, you cultivate vanity, arrogance, and a fragile ego. If you look up with envy at those you perceive as greater, you cultivate bitterness, inadequacy, and resentment. The only sustainable metric for success is your own progress. Measure yourself against who you were yesterday, accepting that life is a vast, uneven playing field where everyone is running a fundamentally different race. The dignity of vocation and the joy of the present. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Human beings are naturally forward-looking creatures. We set goals, make plans, and chase the horizon. While ambition is a powerful driving force, it becomes a curse if it blinds you to the present moment. You must learn to celebrate the milestones you have already reached. If you forever delay your happiness until the next goal is achieved, you will spend your entire life waiting to live. Alongside this, finding dignity in your daily labor is essential for a grounded life. Society often assigns arbitrary value to different careers based on wealth or status. However, a career, no matter how humble, provides structure, purpose, and a means of contributing to the world. Economic climates shift, industries rise and fall, and fortunes change overnight. But the dedication you have to your craft, your work ethic, and the skills you hone remain yours. They are a stabilizing force, a real possession that anchors you when the external world is unpredictable. Pragmatic optimism in a dualistic world. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. To navigate the world successfully, you must hold two seemingly contradictory truths in your mind at once. The world is dangerous, and the world is beautiful. Exercising caution is not about living in paranoia. It is about practical wisdom. It is an acknowledgement that greed, deception, and opportunism are real facets of human nature. Protecting your interests, asking the hard questions, and reading the fine print are acts of self-preservation. However, the trap of caution is that it can easily curdle into cynicism. If you focus only on the trickery, you will miss the breathtaking virtue that exists alongside it. For every act of deception, there are countless acts of quiet heroism. People dedicate their lives to helping others, fight for justice in the face of insurmountable odds, and show profound kindness to strangers. You must keep your eyes open to both realities. Be shrewd enough to protect yourself from the world's darkness, but remain open-hearted enough to be moved by its light. Unapologetic authenticity and the resilience of love. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. The pressure to conform, to people please, and to mold yourself into a version of you that others find acceptable is immense. Yet, true connection and fulfillment can only grow from the soil of authenticity. Pretending to be someone you are not is exhausting, and feigning affection is a disservice to both yourself and the recipient. It builds relationships on a foundation of sand. This authenticity extends most crucially to how we experience love. After experiencing heartbreak, betrayal, or the slow fade of a cherished relationship, it is incredibly tempting to build walls. Cynicism feels safe. It feels like armor. You tell yourself that love is a delusion to avoid the pain of being hurt again. But this aridity of the heart is a greater tragedy than any breakup. Love, in all its forms, romantic, platonic, familial, is the lifeblood of the human experience. It is perennial as the grass. It will inevitably grow back, pushing through the cracks of a broken heart if you only allow it the sunlight of vulnerability, graceful maturation, and cultivating inner fortitude. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Aging is a privilege denied to many, yet our culture often treats it as a disease to be fought. Taking kindly the counsel of the years means embracing the wisdom, patience, and perspective that only time can grant. It requires gracefully letting go of the desperate need for youthful vanity or the reckless physical invincibility of your earlier decades. In its place, you cultivate something far more durable, a strong spirit. You must build this spiritual and emotional fortitude during the calm, sunny days of your life, so that it is there to shield you when sudden misfortune strikes. Tragedies, illnesses, and losses are inevitable. Resilience is not built in the moment of crisis. It is drawn from the deep well of strength you have nurtured over time. Crucially, you must learn to distinguish between actual threats and the phantoms of your own mind. We often torture ourselves with dark imaginings, vivid, terrifying scenarios of everything that could possibly go wrong. More often than not, these These catastrophic thoughts do not stem from reality, but from exhaustion, burnout, and isolation. When you are deeply afraid, the first step is often not to fight the fear, but to simply rest your body and reach out to a friend. Cosmic belonging and the practice of self-compassion. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. Discipline is necessary for a well-ordered life. It helps you achieve your goals, maintain your health, and meet your obligations. But discipline without self-compassion quickly turns into self-flagellation. We are often our own cruelest critics, holding ourselves to impossible standards of perfection and punishing ourselves mercilessly for our inevitable mistakes. You must counteract this internal harshness by remembering your fundamental, inherent worth. You do not have to earn your right to exist through your productivity, your wealth, or your social standing. You are woven into the very fabric of existence, just as a tree does not need to justify its presence in the forest, and a star does not need to apologize for taking up space in the night sky. You belong here. Recognizing yourself as a child of the universe removes the burden of having to constantly prove your value. It allows you to breathe, to exist, and to be profoundly gentle with your own human flaws, finding peace in the unfolding universe. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations. In the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. Life is inherently messy, unpredictable, and often deeply unfair. From our limited, ground-level perspective, the events of our lives can seem chaotic and senseless. The challenge is to cultivate a deep-seated trust that there is a broader tapestry being woven, even if we cannot see the pattern. Finding peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, whether that is a traditional deity, the laws of nature, the flow of the cosmos, or the collective human spirit, is about surrendering the illusion of total control. Your ultimate responsibility is the curation of your own internal state. Amidst the relentless noise, the inevitable drudgery of daily chores, the shams of society, and the personal dreams that will inevitably be broken, you are tasked with a remarkable directive. Keep peace in your soul. This is not a call for toxic positivity or ignoring the suffering in the world. It is an acknowledgement that light and dark coexist in equal measure. Yes, the world is flawed and heartbreaking, but it is still a beautiful world. The sunsets, the laughter of friends, the satisfaction of hard work, the resilience of love, these things remain. Therefore, cheerfulness is not a naive accident. It is a brave, deliberate choice. Striving to be happy is the ultimate rebellion against the darkness.